In this video, I'm going to show you how with just one singer, you can record a full-sounding choir that sounds like this. In the tempest, heed the call. Let's get started. If you're a solo musician like me working from your home studio, chances are high that you don't have access to a full choir to record for the song you're working on. But never fear, that choir sound you're striving to make is well within your grasp. All it's going to take is a little hard work, some music theory, and you spending the time to record a lot of vocal tracks. If all of that sounds doable, then grab your headphones, sip your coffee, and let's learn how to do this. Now, I've used this technique on a bunch of different commissions, and it always gets a great response from my clients. And what makes it even better is it's fairly straightforward to pull off. I'll divide this video into sections so that you can skip to any of them using the chapter markers below. In each section, I'll build off the previous one and add another layer onto the one voice choir. Then at the end, I'll show you the final result preview that I teased at the beginning of the video in all of its glory. Let's hop into the DAW and let's get started. Now, to get this sound, we'll have to record an absolute ton of voices. I'm warning you now, you better like the song that you're singing because you should be prepared to sing it about 50 times in a row. The more voices you record, the more grandiose this choir will feel. The small inconsistencies in timing, in timbre, and pitch will make the choir feel more realistic and grand. We'll start by going through and recording the main melody of the song a few times. No matter if we are falling, we all must soldier on. For these first few recordings, you can use your normal recording techniques to lay down the vocals on the track. We'll want to record this main part a few times. And once we've got that main melody down 3, 4, 6, 8 times, we'll want to beef it up a little bit with some other alternative techniques I'll show you. The first way we'll do it is by singing the lower octave or the higher octave of the main melody to add some oomph to it. Don't worry if you can't hit every note of the high octave or the low octave, just try your best here. And once again, just like the main vocal, you'll notice a trend here. We'll want to record multiple takes so we can add some nice texture. And we'll have some more options for panning later. Our darkest moment. All right, moving right along here. Now we're on to the juicy portion of this choir and really the main part of how to make this happen. This is the tasty part of the steak. We're gonna dive into some harmony. Harmonies are going to take these extra voices and turn them into something that sounds like a real choir, and I'll show you exactly how I go about doing it. You can sing harmonies in a bunch of different ways, and you can even improvise them if you've got some practice, but for me, improvising doesn't give the best results. The best results for harmonies come from when you follow this simple formula. Part 1, keep it simple. These are background voices. The more simple they are, the easier they'll blend together and let the lead shine. Number 2, outline the song's chords. Your harmony should follow the song's chords. If they change, your vocals should change with it. Number 3, sing in a good range. Make sure that you're not straining for high notes or reaching too low for low notes. Pick a range that's comfortable but doesn't overpower the main vocal. Now I'll demonstrate how I follow this formula for this particular song. First, I'll identify the chords that are playing throughout the track. For this first part of the song, we have the following chords: C sharp minor, C sharp minor, C sharp minor, E major, A flat major. Now, how exactly I identified those chords is out of the scope of this video, so I won't get into that. But I did make a video on music theory that will help shed some light on these chords I'm playing. You can find it right up here. Next, I'll find exactly where the melody is played in comparison to those chords, and I'll invert the chords to help give the melody space. In this case, the melody is right here. Something like that, but we know that we're basically in this part of the melody. If I can put my chords and invert them down here, my melody will still have room to shine. Keep in mind, I'm playing the same notes as before, they're just on different parts of the piano. This isn't always possible to keep your voice in a good range and then still have room for the melody when it comes to chords. But if you can, it will give better results. Now comes the slightly harder part. We're gonna use those chords we've identified and assign each note of that chord to a voice part. For most of the chords I sing, I'm using a 3-part harmony that includes the root, the third, and the fifth of the chord. In this case, or so on and so forth. Let's go through the lowest voice I'll record. In this case, it will be the C sharp. I'll start with the lowest note of the first chord. Then as I change chords, I'll just use that bottom note there and use that for this part. And now that I've got those notes, I'll put them to the same lyrics as my lead, and then I'll hit record. Check it out. Face our darkest moments, 'cause we know they make us strong. No matter if we are falling, We all must soldier on. There you go. I'll take multiple takes of this specific harmony for greater effect once again. Then I'll rinse and repeat and do this same process for the other two parts of that piano chord that I was just playing. If you're liking this video so far, go down there and hit the like button and subscribe for more videos just like this. Okay, now that we've got our harmonies recorded, our vocals are sounding much better than before. Check out what all of the harmonies kind of sound like blended together. No matter if we are falling, we all must soldier on. Also notice that I also included some higher harmonies as well to really flesh out this full sound. I didn't just stick to those inverted chords that I mentioned before. I added more to beef it up. Now, our harmonies have added a lot of depth and a choir-like effect to our song, but there's still some other cool techniques we can do to help sell it even more. The next technique we'll talk about is a recording technique, and it's all about far-away takes from the microphone. A normal choir has people close to the mic, far from the mic, and everywhere in between. And we can emulate that distance by just taking a few steps back from your microphone. This works way better in a treated room, but even with a bunch of room noise in an untreated room, the vocal will sound like it's coming from farther away, which is the whole point. Feel free to do this technique with any of the recorded parts we've done so far. I'll add more voices to the harmonies, the octaves, and the leads. Also, for each part I choose to record this faraway technique, I like to record at least 2 voices so I can pan them left and right later and have more panning on. Let me show you what that looks like. Darkest moments, 'cause we know they make us strong. No matter if we are falling, we all must soldier on. And fast forward 10 more minutes and we've recorded a bunch of other parts in there with the faraway vocals like I just mentioned. The last thing we want to do to really sell this choir is a bit unusual, but it can give some really good results. This time, we'll be singing the same parts we were before, but we'll be singing them in slightly unusual voices. These voices could be a really operatic sound, a really nasal sound, or whatever you'd like to do. The more types of voices you can record, the more texture it will bring to this choir we're going to make. My go-tos are the overemphasized operatic voice, oh, and the airy head voice, ooh. Just like before, record multiple voices, then we'll be finally ready to mix. I'll show you what that looks like. We know they make us strong. We all must soldier on. Okay, nice. The hard part of our choir is done. If you followed my instructions, you probably have maybe 80 tracks now. Hopefully now you can see why it takes 60 plus voices to really give that texture that we're after. Each individual one adds to the atmosphere of the song. And now it's time to process them so that they sound even better and not just like plain microphone. My processing for these large choirs is usually very minimal. Most of what I do comes from panning. The sheer number of voices will help to take care of a lot of the dynamic problems or volume discrepancies, so you can keep it light with the compressor. I still do like to add some subtle compression as well as EQ to help glue things together though. First, I'll go through and pan the voices of the choir to get them out of the way of the lead in the middle. I'll still leave some voices in the middle, but I want to make room for our main track. Just going crazy here, throwing these right out of the center. I'm really going hard left, hard right, and everywhere in between. I want to fully encompass this listener in our choir. Next, I'll group my voices into sections by which I recorded them so I can easily process and mix them with the rest of the track. For this choir, I've also color-coded some of these parts so that they're easier to see with all of these tracks. In this case, I've decided to label my buses bass, which would be the bass and the baritone, tenors, tenor 2, tenor 1. I also recorded some alto parts as well as tried for some soprano parts. And then I have all my leads down here. I even have a full bus for leads that are far away. But you can see that organizing it like this just makes a little bit more sense and makes it a little bit easier to work with. For each bus I can create a subtle EQ curve to help get rid of that muddiness right around here. Then I'll add some gentle compression to just really bring things home. Not completely necessary, but if you want to, go for it. With the compressor, I'll use a low ratio, like a 3:1, medium fast attack, and kind of a slow release just to glue them a little bit together. Then after all of those really subtle changes, I'll mix each vocal bus to taste. If I hear any voices that stand out too much, I'll turn them down inside the mix inside of each individual bus. Now notice how I'm not using any pitch correction. If your voice is that far off, yes, you can use pitch correction. But if you use pitch correction on every vocal, you wouldn't be able to tell that there's 64 tracks singing. The small changes and minute tuning differences between vocal tracks is the reason the choir sounds so full. We don't want to change that. Adding in pitch correction sporadically is fine, but if it's on every track, the choir size won't nearly be as big. And after all of that recording and hard work, we're ready to hear the final product. If you gained anything from this video, come and join the Music by Maddie community and hit subscribe. We make videos like this every week. And let's hear what this final product sounds like. To show you how each part builds off of each other and adds to the choir, I'll gradually introduce each part one at a time. At the end, you'll hear the full power of the one-voice choir, and hopefully you'll be inspired to make your own.
We'll face our darkest moments, 'cause we know they make us strong. No matter if we are falling, we all must soldier on. We can choose not to lose as we face the endless night. Survival is our anthem. It is all